RoseN'Hook Publishing presents, Inside My Mind by Corey A. Rose. Give in to me, the voice whispered, give into my power, the voice so loud in my head, it caused me to wince in pain. My body then started to shake while spit and drool poured from my mouth. I lay on the floor as a group of people surround me. Someone shoves my wallet into my mouth, separating my jaw so I don't inadvertently bite off my tongue. My blurry eyes frantically looking around the room as the fit subsides. I coughed, spitting the black leather wallet out onto the ground. The voice inside my head stopped speaking, for now. I'd had these episodes since I was a young child. Being almost 18 now, I was used to them. The voice, deep and guttural, was also nothing new. The first time I remember having a seizure, I was around 5 years old. This was not the first time the voice spoke to me though. My mother and I were shopping. The voice who had encouraged me to do small things at first, things like spilling milk on purpose, throwing tantrums when I didn't get my way, now commanded me to steal a candy bar. Of course the thought scared me. I had always been told that thieves went to jail. Being young, the thought frightened me. I silently spoke to the voice in my head, no. I can't steal, my small voice plead. It commanded me again, saying the same, adding, or else. Speaking aloud now I shouted, I said no. I remember a rumble erupted from my toes up through my gut and then my ears. A coldness took hold as I fell to the ground. The store's employees comforted my mother as she wept beside my seizing body. My limbs jerked, I foamed at my mouth, I woke in a hospital bed. While in the hospital I underwent test after test. They'd found a spot on my brain stem. It was of course inoperable. From that day forward, if I disobeyed the voice, I was punished. Sometimes just a blinding headache, sometimes a seizure. Today the seizure had not been as tense as before. After an EMT checked me out, I left the shopping plaza to walk home. I woke up at 3 in the morning. A black shadow stood in my bedroom door. It looked at me and slowly approached. My body tensed up, every muscle contracting, leaving me immobile. The shadow sat down at the edge of my bed, like my mother used to. Just like her, it leaned at its hand, moving over the blankets that covered me. Unlike my mother, the touch was cold and evil, whereas my mother's hand was gentle, loving and warm. With my mother, I would have felt safe. This shadow's touch left me weak and cold. It said nothing as its face floated inches from my own. The shadow spread in front of me, a black cloud that filled the room. The shadow's head the only thing not to mold into a ghoulish form. The bulbous body morphed continuously into a different shape. I quaked as the thing swirled almost like a tornado, the funnel growing thinner and thinner. The black funnel seemed to take aim before I felt myself take a deep breath. The shadow swirled as it poured down my throat. Pure evil flowed down my esophagus as I swallowed the spinning shadow. My next memory was waking in a cold sweat. My alarm blared beside me as I tried to catch my bearings. Looking at my watch, it was a day later. I had slept for over a day, with my alarm sounding beside me. I weakly stood, making my way to the bathroom. Relieving myself, I stand in front of the mirror. Dark sunken eyes stared back at me. My eyes black as coal. My black hair heavy with bed head. I stared at myself, the voice inside my head whispering terrible things. I laughed looking at myself. My hands gripped the white porcelain sink, my knuckles the same color. I laughed for what seemed like minutes before calming myself. The voice whispered, vile things, things that made me wretch. Tears ran down my face. You cannot beat me, a voice not mine sprung from my lips. I gripped my head as my blood froze. The air around me following suit. I gripped my hair as a laugh, again not mine, but deeper and angrier, erupted from me. I turned around looking at the bathroom. I wanted to run, needed to, but I knew I would not escape the shadow. I closed my eyes as pain erupted through me. I felt myself spinning. Finally opening my eyes, I was staring at a wall. The sunlight shone through the window behind me, my shadow the only thing on the wall. I stared at it, watching it morph. It moved side to side as I stood still. My eyes moving up and down the body that should be mine. When my gaze finally reached the head, I stepped back as I saw the outlines of horns. I screamed then, knowing that the shadow had finally gotten its wish. I started to move faster then, backing away from the shadow. I turned and ran. The crashing of glass was noticed by some patrons walking below the 5-story building. The explosion of metal, as the body hit the roof of the car. A tall bearded man ran over, not sure if he could help or not. He called 911 as he looked at the disheveled and clearly dead man. The dead man's face was twisted in fear as a woman answered the call. 911, what's your emergency? The bearded man began to speak, until he felt a coldness take over his body. He fell to the ground, his eyes rolling into the back of his head. Someone stuck a wallet between his teeth. The EMTs would save the seizing man, the other that had fallen from the bathroom window was dead. When the EMT found the dead man, he was smiling. The end.